opportunity. I'll just start sharing my screen. So, good evening, everyone. I would first like to thank AIOS, COC, and Sonal ma'am for providing me this opportunity. I'm Dr. Nilesh Kumar, and I'm going to talk about how to do drug research right. So over the last 2.5 years, our group has been publishing on various aspects of brolucizumab and has over 14 PubMed indexed articles on the molecule. To have collaboration with the top scientific minds raises your thinking level and opens up new avenues of research and publication. And from personal experience, I can tell you, if you have a solid research idea, these collaborators are just a well-framed email away. So these are some of our most read contributions on the topic of brolucizumab, and these are my financial disclosures. So why should one venture into drug research? First of all, we ventured into the drug solely for the reason to know the unknown and to stay ahead of the curve. We wanted to understand the molecule and provide an informed choice to our patients, and not only just to try a molecule because it has been launched. So once we started searching for information, we realized that there are multiple avenues that can be explored and written upon. So now, first thing first, what is the first thing that comes in our mind when we hear about drug research? It is the drug development, that is preclinical and clinical trials involving such molecules. But there are so many other types of research opportunities via which we can explore the molecule and its various aspects. Let's see them one by one. So preclinical trials are mainly conducted by pharmacologists who are involved in drug designing and development. Once the drug passes the preclinical phase, ophthalmologists are involved in the clinical trials. It though is extremely sad that none of the major drug trials have been conducted in India in the development phase, though many instruments and surgical platforms have been tested. So it becomes extremely rare for an Indian ophthalmologist to be involved in a major drug trial. Suprachoroidal steroid drug has been an exception, which was evaluated in India, but the drug has failed to reach Indian market. So we as young ophthalmologists need to look beyond these trials and yet do an ethical drug research. Even if you are not involved in sponsored RCTs, you can still carry out a trial of your own with proper inclusion and exclusion criteria. These trials, though, are with a larger sample size and a longer follow-up requiring a lot of your time. So you should have a unique aim or a research question. Treat and extend is a shining example of such a unique idea, aiming to address the burden of a frequent injection to provide a solution which was properly evaluated in a trial and published well. One of our most read original article is FLIP3 study, which analyzes the difference in behavior of and visual outcome of type 3 MNV when compared to type 1 and type 2 macular neovascularization when treated with anti-VEGF agent. So we need to find out such unique ideas and then publish so that it is read well and accepted well. It is said that early adopters are often the leaders. The real-world experience of a molecule can be vastly different from the randomized control trial, just like Dr. Apur was pointing out right now, that the patient do not adhere to the inclusion and exclusion criteria. The highly potent molecule tend to attract patients who are previously labeled as failure to therapy with existing option. So reporting such real-world data is not only good for the authors, but also for the ophthalmic community that is greatly benefited by this experience. These real-world experiences are a small case series with very short follow-up and often reporting on efficacy and safety. Even switch and substitution of the newer molecule with replacing the older molecule can be reported as real-world data. With the real-world experience, certain previously unreported adverse events emerge. These forms the basis of interesting case reports. RPE tears, that is retinal pigment epithelium tears, which are now evaluated in all the randomized controlled trials of anti-VEGF, were first reported as an adverse event case report. Similarly, the much talked about occlusive vasculitis with use of Pagenax, that is brolucizumab, have majorly been reported as case reports and case series. Even the histopathological correlation and management of such adverse events can be published. And hopefully in the coming trials, these occlusive vasculitis will also form as will be properly evaluated as adverse event, which was not done in Hawk and Harrier trial. It is surprising that apart from faricimab, all other It is surprising that apart from the faricimab, all other anti-VEGF agents have only been approved for NAMD first. The DME and other indications were approved much later, even after 1.5 years. So most of the real-world use are off-label extrapolated indication. So these indications can be published. The experience of these indications can be published as the case series or real-world experience. The introduction of anti-VEGF for ROP are prime example of such extrapolated use, such as BEAT ROP and CARE ROP studies, which had revolutionized the treatment protocol with solid scientific research, leading to sponsored trial now, which is Rainbow trial. Letter to editor is also a very powerful tool for the readers who are not involved in the trials to understand the trials better. Whatever confusion or whatever questions you are going to have for the trial, you can just shoot a question to the editor, and the editor will forward it to the authors. And if the points are really valid and it really needs clarity, the authors almost always acknowledge and reply to the query. You can also provide a different aspect or a point of view on the subject matter with your letter. Now coming to comments, these are often invited, though unsolicited comments are also published if it has a good amount of info that is previously not available. These are actually expert opinion, and thus is a mix of scientific data with author's perception on recent development. Similarly, editorials are more authoritative comments from the experts. These are almost always invited by the editor. Opinions and hypotheses on the specific aspect or a disease or a drug can be from author's experience, but should be logically explained from scientific point of view. Our hypothesis on bronzebub-induced vasculitis was published as an editorial, which had a logical thinking that involved high molar load of drug, the pre-existing ADAs, and the treatment emerging ADAs, which can induce type 3 reaction. So coming to the last type of article, that is the review article. It is one of the most feared manuscript to be prepared. I have interacted with many potential authors who just backed out because they feel that they have to find each and every article from each and every database that exists on the earth before starting to prepare the manuscript. It is not like that. Just like an original article, a review article has a defined methodology, and you have to stick to that methodology. If you are telling that you are searching only PubMed and publishing a review, you should have searched the PubMed. You don't have to go to Google Scholar, Cochrane, and everything and search for that. So even if like my first review article was published in British Journal of Ophthalmology, it was not even a meta-analysis of a PubMed index journal, PubMed index articles. It was a review of all the regulatory requirements that were required to develop a biosimilar given by various drug authorities all over the world, and it provided a comparative discussion. Review article, though, should not be initiated alone and should only be done in guidance of an expert or a group of experts who can guide you, and they can help you to frame the aim. That is, what new thing you are going to provide with this review article that is not available in the literature. So this talk was just a primer on what all manuscripts can be done under the umbrella of drug research. Each manuscript comes with its own set of difficulties, and I'm sure anyone who wants guidance or help, anyone in this panel today will be more than welcoming to provide that help. So I once again thank AIOS, Yosi, and Sonal ma'am for the opportunity, and everyone for their patient listening.